Hi, everyone, and welcome to Fight to Inhale. Today, let's see, it is actually May 14th, 2019, so about halfway through the month of May, and I thought I'd go over just a little bit about the cost of CF. And I'm planning on making this segment into splitting it into smaller parts so that you guys get a series. And today I was going to cover what most people would think of when it comes to the cost is the financial cost, because CF is expensive. Um, and I mean, it. I don't even think if you were a multimillionaire, these would be easy numbers to swallow. So I actually sat there checking and crunching some numbers, and just to give a little perspective, when I was a kid, which I'm 37 right now, so really getting up there in CF years. But when I was a kid, they estimated the cost for keeping a CFer healthy without hospital stays to be around $100,000 a year. So that's just to give you a little perspective of how much prices have changed, and just and I mean, don't get me wrong, that was also during a time when we didn't have things like Pulmozyme and Caystin or Toby. It was mostly doing things like albuterol, making sure we take our enzymes, prednisone, a lot of prednisone, like my poor face blew up. So that with that, we have way more medications available, which is awesome in one way, but obviously way more expensive. So, like I said, I did some number crunching, and this is just for the medications. I didn't include the cost for any sort of vest, any the uh, sorry, the pulmoids, the nebulizers, those are not included, just so you know. And I also didn't include the fact that with our diet, that price can add up. Even me, where I actually get to have fewer calories than I did before transplant, which is really nice, by the way, because it's a lot easier to keep up with between 2,000 and 2,500 versus the 3,500 I was getting beforehand, and it's literally a lot easier for me when you compare those. But the price is still up there because I'm not over there eating McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell and any of those. Those actually make me very physically ill. So we're talking, making sure to get plenty of fruits and vegetables, and my proteins and my fats, and making sure they're all healthy forms, but add up to the amount of calories I need. So, like I said, that can get expensive. And me, I consider myself a bit of an outlier because I'm also plagued with a lot of allergies. So there's certain foods that I just cannot have, or else again I get very sick. So I did not include the cost of food for CFR because, like I said, for me it's different due to allergies and being post-transplant. It kind of affects what I'm purchasing food-wise, whereas a CFR pre-transplant is probably going to be consuming more. They're probably getting some CFRs get feeding tubes, which involves getting those nutritional formulas that go in at night. I didn't include that. So just so people aren't like, well, I pay more or I pay less. There were certain things I didn't include, but when you look at the things that were included, you can tell that the numbers are pretty high. So what I included was monthly Pulmozyme, the every other month for Caystin, every other month for Toby. I did the price, the enzymes per se. Like I said, there's a lot of different ones, so prices can differ, but it's still, no matter which one you take, it still adds up, especially over a month. I did an albuterol inhaler, the albuterol solution. I also did colistin. Some CFers do take that instead of Toby, or they'll alternate between the two. It just really depends on the team. Prednisone. I also included Advair and Spiriva. Those two, again, are not always included. They were included in my treatment, which helped me immensely because on top of having lovely CF lungs, I also had asthma, believe it or not. So um, it was a lot of fun playing the guessing game. Is this CF or asthma? So just letting you know. Also, I did not include the price for gene targeted therapies because those were those are very specific. So you need to have specific genetic mutations to be able to take those. But just if anybody is curious, those actually cost around $300,000 a year. I don't know of anybody in my family who's made that much in a year. So just so people can get an idea, they're awesome therapies if you can take them, but they're very pricey. And so let's get on. So I added up the price of these medications for 1 month. And the lovely, lucky total is $22,786. Now that, it differs slightly from pharmacy to pharmacy. Luckily, most of us are not paying the full price. We either have insurance through the government. I know in the state of California, they also have a program called the Genetically Handicapped Persons Program, which CF is covered under that, and that helps a lot when it comes to paying for some of these medications. And even if you were talking, okay, insurances will pay for it. One, sometimes insurance doesn't want to pay for some of these things, and two, if you have a good insurance but you have copays, you're still going to be paying quite a bit out of pocket. Maybe not the full price, but even if your copay was 10%, you're paying around $2,000 a month in copays alone. So that's a very pricey. CF is not a cheap disease, basically. And like I said, I didn't include that some of us do have cystic fibrosis related diabetes, or also known as CFRD. Which then you're talking about needing insulin and test strips and glucometers. So I didn't include that price, but I can tell you, for me alone, the two types that I take, it adds up to just under $900 a month for the insulins that I do take. And that's, like I said, that's not including, the test strips and the fact that you need alcohol pads to, because I'm sorry, I'm not going to stick myself with my skin not being clean. So that doesn't include those prices. It doesn't include that every couple of years you need a new glucometer. And those who are lucky enough to be on a continuous glucometer, it doesn't include that price either. So, like I said, CF runs pretty expensive. If I just do the 22,786, let's see, and multiply that by 12 months, you are looking at a price of $273,432 per year. And these aren't even including hospital stays, IV antibiotics. If you're having to do copays for doctor's appointments and lab work and x-rays, and that number is just medications. So I didn't include any of the other options, like I said, the hospitals, the doctors, lab work, any medical procedures that have to be done. I did not include any of those prices. So that's just to give you an idea that when we CFers are fundraising and just to pay for medical expenses, this is why it's not a cheap disease. I don't even I can't really say any disease is cheap because I just gave you the financial cost. There's, as I said before, and I'm going to cover that in the next few posts. There's other costs to cystic fibrosis. We're talking the emotional cost, the mental cost, the physical cost, the cost of our time. It and so it gets kind of pricey when you're sitting there. And I just by giving you the financial cost, it's pretty jaw dropping is the best explanation. And you'll notice, like I said, yes, some of us will do fundraisers. A lot of us will try to find ways to make money to pay for all this, even if it's at home making silly videos or, which no, I don't. At the moment, I don't have any sponsorship or anything, so I'm not making money off these videos. This is strictly to share with you guys what it's like. But everybody does something different. Some will make awareness type jewelry or shirts or things like that to make money. Some actually make money as speakers, and they'll go around giving presentations about life with cystic fibrosis. It's these are things that we try to do to not constantly feel like we're living off of other people. But like I said, in the end, it's very pricey, and and I know in the further you go towards end stage, it gets more expensive because then you're adding on the cost of oxygen, the cost of specialized nutritional shakes, G tubes, and those nutritional formulas. Some of these medications might actually increase. I know at one point I was doing treatments 4 to 6 times a day, and that is exhausting, by the way. And so some of these costs will go up. And I didn't include things like having to take Miralax to counteract the fact that sometimes our enzymes cause some lovely side effects. So these are this is the bare bones cost. This is not adding all the extras that we also do. And that's not adding in the cost of having to find something that physical activity to keep healthy. So for me, I have a membership at a gym, which I go to. I also do a lot of walking. And if there was a pool, I'd be swimming every day. I live in a small town, so that's not quite the option. Maybe one of these days I'll get a place that has a pool, which will be cool. But these are extra costs. When I was a kid, my mom spent money to have a pool put in so I could swim. And that was very beneficial to me, but the amount she paid to have that pool put in was not cheap. It wasn't, oh, let's just go to Walmart and get, this little 4-foot pool or something. She actually had it was an above ground pool, but she had a high quality swimming pool put in so that I could swim constantly, and she worked really hard keeping everything balanced so bacteria wasn't trying to grow in it, but wasn't, so chlorinated it was going to burn my skin off. These were things that she really had to keep in mind, and so I didn't include those kinds of costs. Those are extras that it's hard to determine costs because of where you live. I know some CFers do horseback riding. I would say that's probably a really good way to help, shake some stuff up. Others, they go swimming or surfing. Some are martial artists. Some just go biking cross country. I'm not kidding. But these are extra costs that are not included, but they are things that keep us healthy. So if you hear of a CFer who is very big on trying to make sure that their gym membership is included in their monthly budget, it's not one of those, oh, you don't need it. It's one of those, yes, we need it. We have to go and get the exercise. And, trying to get afford all that equipment for the house is not quite feasible. And some gyms do have swimming pools, which is an awesome workout. So that's kind of my financial costs in a nutshell. Like I said, this was bare bones, and I gave you some other examples like the gene-targeted therapies and how much they cost per year. Insulin costs, you tack on to that final cost that I gave you. Um, these, they're just, and like I said, there's no one specific treatment for CF. I used the most common and some that I knew I had been put on, but that doesn't mean every CFer's put on them. It really depends on what we culture. I was unlucky to be culturing Pseudomonas and at one point MRSA, which is not fun, is not cool to have, by the way. So those were two big things that we were constantly trying to treat. So I was on extra stuff for that. Well, the Toby actually helps with the Pseudomonas, but with the MRSA, I was constantly on different things to try to clear it up. And some of that stuff actually made me ill. But so I didn't include those costs because not everybody cultures those things. And some people culture really much worse bacteria or funguses in their lungs than even I did. So that in itself can change. So I gave the bare bones example. I know I keep saying I gave bare bones, but literally I want you to know this is bare bones. This isn't the extras that end up that we have to cost. So if somebody's watching this and is like, well, I have to pay for this and that, and I'm doing Zithromax every day, or I'm having to pay for oxygen and or pulmonary rehab. Those were things I didn't include because not every patient with CF does those things. Not all of them have it prescribed. So it really depends on the team and your symptoms that you are dealing with personally. And those who don't have CF, I'm hoping this is a little bit eye-opening, understanding why we get a little bit stressed out over money, because this is an expensive disease. There are times when I really don't like grocery shopping because I know what I need to eat, but some of that stuff, it really adds up when I'm figuring out how much I'm going to need for the week, and it's just very shocking. And like I said, I actually get to have 1,000 calories less per day than I used to, and that's really cool. A lot easier on my wallet, but still, it is very pricey. So again, I'm hoping this kind of gives you guys an idea, and I will be in the next few weeks, especially hopefully I get it all done by the end of May, because May is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month. So so I guess really good timing. But I'm trying to get everything done so you guys can get an idea of what the cost of cystic fibrosis is. And please, if you like my videos, hit the subscribe button. Please hit like and the notifications so you know when I do post videos. I'm not as consistent as I like to be, but I am trying there. So hopefully as time goes on, I can give you guys a guarantee day that these videos will be uploaded. But until next time, have a great day, and I'm hoping that you guys learned something today. And again, from Fight to Inhale, bye.